Well, after one period of hockey at Boston Garden, it's Boston 2 and Toronto 1. First period shots on goal, Boston 9 and Toronto 4. Back to John Pierson now and his between periods guest, Roger Neilson.
Well, Roger, you're nice to pinch hit for Darryl Sittler, but I can understand Darryl wanted to get a little extra rest after a very physical first period.
That's right. It was one of those games that you never know what's going to happen, but all of a sudden it breaks out. And I know, I think we've got a team now that can play tough with anybody, and everyone knows Boston can. So maybe we're going to get more games like this.
Roger, do you feel that roughness is a necessary prerequisite to winning in the National Hockey League?
Oh, I think so. And even a team like Montreal Canadiens knows that they've got to have some physical players like Chartrand, Loupy, and Bouchard, and you definitely need that. You also need some good hockey players as well, but yeah, I think it's a necessary ingredient. And of course that is accentuated, the roughness, by the closer checking, right? A lot of coaches are talking more defensive than offensive play. Well, I think that you have to check to be a good team, to be a Stanley Cup contender, and I think our team has had the scoring. We just got to play a little tighter and perhaps a little tougher, and Boston do a good job that way. They all work hard and they all check and they finish their checks, and you know, I think probably we've got a little better scoring than they do on our team, but we've got to tighten up our checking a little. Is that one of the reasons why the Leafs tried to acquire Dan Maloney from the Red Wings, tough, hard-nosed type of player? No question about it, and we felt we were a little weak physically on the wings, but now on the left side particularly with Maloney and Tiger Williams and Patty Boutette, we're in a lot better shape that way. Roger, a lot of coaches now are emphasizing defense, as I mentioned before, and back-checking. Do you think that's hampering the freewheeling, high-scoring type of hockey player, or don't you think it makes any difference? Oh, no, if a team is doing their job checking, naturally the game becomes tighter and the freewheelers can't go as well. Take tonight now, a player like Sittler and McDonald, who are probably two best scorers. They have a rough time putting out nice passing plays, and you know, it's a grind them out game, and fortunately they can play that type as well, but it's different than a game where the guys are just freewheeling up and down. Of course, that's one of the things that Boston or the opposition would look for against Sittler and McDonald, wouldn't it? Try to get them close because they are tremendous scorers. Oh, there's no question about that. And this is another reason why Dan Maloney is valuable, because the other teams put their checkers out against the Sittler line. They try to get them riled up. They try to get them into fights and so on. Well, you need a big, tough guy to look after them, and it's pretty rough on the good players in the league, the guys like Guy Lafleur, who know they're going to have a checker tailing them all night and aggravating them, and they have to have a lot of patience too. Roger, you're nice to fill in. I appreciate you taking the time. Nice to have you with us. Thank you, Johnny. Roger Neilson, coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now to Tom Larson.
Between period guests receive a Fioravanti suit by Brookfield, another touch of class from Eastern Coat in Watertown. Tomorrow night's NHL 78 telecast should be of considerable interest. The New York Islanders and the Philadelphia Flyers, two contenders for their divisional title, will meet head-on at the Spectrum tomorrow evening. We'll have that telecast here on TV-38 starting at 8 o'clock. On Tuesday night, Boston at Cleveland at 8. Thursday, the Blackhawks at Boston Garden at 7:30. And next Sunday evening, it'll be Montreal at Boston. We'll get another semifinal match in this year's mini one-on-one here in a moment. Squirt competition as Winthrop meets Kennebec, Maine.
From Winthrop, the goaltender is Norman Blanchard, and the shooter is Spike Tiano. They go up against goaltender Mickey Boardman and shooter Anthony Fonce from Kennebec, Maine. We're at Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University as TV-38 Sports presents Mini One-on-One. Folks are kind of charged up here around Gregorio because we're in the semifinals of squirt competition. Winthrop and Kennebec Valley, Maine. Winthrop has been here. This is their fourth year, but they've never won this thing. And Kennebec Valley, Maine is here for the first time with a chance to win it.
Yes, and little Anthony Fonce from Kennebec Valley, Maine has been very impressive as the shooters, as has Spike Tiano from Winthrop. Two excellent shooters.
And we pick up Spike Tiano first as he cruises in on Mickey Boardman, the Kennebec Valley, Maine goaltender. And Tiano gives Winthrop a 1-0 lead. All right, check little Anthony Fonce. It's Fontes. He is a little guy, but can he skate and can he shoot? Norman Blanchard is the goaltender. A goal. May have jammed it against the post, but the save was made.
Norman Blanchard made a nice play on that, just holding his ground and waiting for little Fonts to come in.
Winthrop leads 2-0. Tiano scores to make it 3-0 after 3 shots. Winthrop is out to a quick 3-0 lead.
Here comes Anthony Fonts, and why he's a good goal scorer is that he watches, he holds, he waits for the goalie to commit himself. But what Blanchard didn't do was commit himself. He held his position, and then he made the save. It was because he held his position long enough to force the forward to make the first move.
Well, this kid is fun to watch. Anthony Fonts, who's the shooter from Kennebec Valley, Maine. He has to score here, or Winthrop will win the match. Makes the fake inside, but Blanchard made an awfully fine reaction to poke that one away. 4-0 Winthrop. So Winthrop has moved into the finals against Edgewood, Rhode Island. Will take these final 2 shots just to complete the series. Spike Tiano, Winthrop shooter, makes it 5-0. So Winthrop is making this one pretty easy. One more shot for Anthony Fonts.
I'll tell you this, Kennebec Valley has done very well for their first appearance.
Here's Fonts. Flips a soft shot that almost got by, but he made the save with a glove, and it's a shutout in this semifinal match as Winthrop advances to the final round over to meet Edgewood, Rhode Island in squirt competition. The final score, Winthrop 6 and Kennebec Valley, Maine 0.